Hi, I'm Bonnie McGowan, and I had a stylist drive across the Atlanta traffic. She said it was a 45-minute drive to bring me her 4 shears to sharpen, and she's paying me 30% more than she does the sharpener that she normally deals with. It's been coming to their salon for years. So let me tell you why she decided to drive them to me and why this makes me unhappy. So here's the 4 shears she sent me. And the reason she brought them to me is because her regular sharpener has not shown up and she doesn't know where he is, and that she's been using them for years. But here's what makes me unhappy is I want you to look at these 2 shears. These are both originally convex, and both of them have a huge beveled edge on them. And this one, the tips are so pointy. That one, the tips have been so pointy over the years that he's had to take all the, I say he, might have been a she, take it, I think she said it was a he, taking all the bumper off of here. So this one here, I assume has never been sharpened. And I want you to see how easy it is for me to sharpen shears that have never been sharpened as compared to trying to resurrect and fix these 2 shears. So let's knock out these 2 easy ones first, and then I'll get on to those 2. Someone made a comment about how I knock other sharpeners and talk bad about them. They may be doing the best they can, and they obviously, this guy had repeat business from this customer, and so he was keeping the customer happy, so that makes him a successful sharpener. But he's not doing the best by his customer because so much metal is removed. These shears aren't going to last as long as the way I sharpen. And I'll let you see what this one looks like when I finish sharpening it as compared to what this other sharpening is. So let's get started. I like to tell people to see what they're starting with. Now I'm going to cut. Now these are super loose. I'm going to check all the hardware first. Make sure finger rests are here. The screws are working. I want to tighten this screw before I test it. And this one I'm going to actually cut some hair. So I just want to kind of see what I'm starting out with. That's not too bad. I think her biggest problem with that one, they were just loose, but I'll sharpen them. They do have some nicks in them. This is the one here that I'm going to sharpen next. And looks like it's never been sharpened. And if I use pressure, I can make it cut. It's loose too. Now, obviously, I'm going to take it apart in a minute, but that doesn't cut too bad. It's got a lot of nicks in it, but those will be easy to sharpen. These are ones that the previous person sharpened. And what are we dealing with here? See, all of them cut the dry tissue. This is regular cheap toilet tissue. So I think he was able to make the shears cut and cut to her satisfaction. So if he's keeping his customer happy, doing it his way, that's fine. It just shortens the life of the shears. And if another sharpener comes in and points out the difference in the angles on these 2 shears and the angle on this one, well, not even the angle, just the shape of the blade and how much of the blade is gone comparatively, he may have a hard time keeping his business. That may be why he's not coming down in this area anymore. I think she said he came from out of state. So my first thing I'm going to do, let's set these aside. Let's just start off with these thinning shears. I bought that little cheap stand. I'm sure that must go in a bathroom for toothbrushes or something. I don't know what it's for. But I found that at a Goodwill garage sale, something like that, the other day. And I think paid $1 for it. And I think that's going to work well in keeping myself organized. If you've been watching my previous videos, and I've got lots of them, if you're interested in sharpening, if you are a sharpener or interested in sharpening, check out my other videos. And lots and lots and lots of videos out there. Let me get my papers. There's a Warren 800. And, oh, there's a Warren 800 on a cushion plate. It's my favorite one to use. Now, these abrasives come in all different grids, from 400 to 2000. And I just happen to like a Warren 800 best. I've got a Warren 400 over there I might use on those messed up shears. But let's knock this out. I'm going to do the rod line first. I do like this little thing to put everything on. I'm just, know myself, I'm afraid I might not put things back after I use it. See, I'm looking for my Nagura stone. I guess I didn't put everything on here. Yeah, here's my Nagura stone. I use this. This doesn't flatten my stone. This just sort of cleans it up. I probably need to flatten my stone. It's probably past due. I try to do it about every 10 or 20 shears. I know some sharpeners flatten theirs after every single shear. I just don't have the time for it. There's a range between perfectionism and getting the job done. This is my edge marker. I put it back. See that? Proud of myself. Misty'd be proud of me. She's always fussing at me about putting things back. And I tell her, well, I'm better than Jean at putting things back. And that's not saying much. What I'm looking at is I still have red on the edge here. And I've removed some of the red, which is the rod line from here to here, but I still have red there, still have red here. Now this shear looks like it's never been sharpened. My pressure's still over my pivot hole, but a little bit extra pressure there and here. Not quite. I'm going to put, my pressure's still here, but not as much pressure. I think I'm flattening this out too much. And that's why I'm not getting the front and the back. Or it could be my stone needs to be reflattened. If I see the same problem the next year, I'll say, okay, Bonnie, stop and flatten your stone. That worked better. Just a little less pressure here. And I think I was pressing down too hard. So I was getting the middle and not the two back ends. If you're not a sharpener, some of the stuff I'm saying might just kind of like, what is she talking about? And all I can say is go back to some of my other videos. I've got lots of them here. I am set on 40. I just arbitrarily, usually in these convex edges, I just sort of arbitrarily pick an angle. And I think for this thinning shear, she's not slide cutting with it. She's got a lot of nicks in it. I think 40 is going to be a good angle. So I've got to burr all the way down. You notice how I always feel with my left hand. It's a more sensitive hand. And these are my more sensitive fingers. You know, the Romans used to put their wedding ring on this finger and not that finger because they thought this finger went straight to the heart. That's kind of interesting. But I do know, now see, I'm kind of feeling with my thumbnail, see if that inside burr is gone. I still felt a little bit at the tip. And now I'm going to polish it. Let's throw this over my stone so it doesn't get dirty. polishing pad. I'm going to be really super organized. I'm actually going to put my pads on some kind of little stand. Look at there. I'm just in one of those wonderful organized moods today. Let's see how long it will last. I don't even know how many shears I have to sharpen today, and I really didn't want to do any of them. I would like all of you out there to be doing such an excellent job sharpening, taking care of your customers, that I don't get any mail order sharpening. I really don't want any mail order sharpening. I like teaching sharpening. I like shooting videos, which I guess the mail order sharpening helps me get that, but I don't want to sit here and sharpen all day. I'd rather be editing videos, doing the ISSA certification test, which I have some of those I'll be doing today. Did I? Yeah, I adjusted that. I'm talking, sometimes I miss some things. What I'm doing is I'm polishing, but I'm also knocking off any outside burr here. It's good. Clean it up. And I'm going to put it back together. So this had a ball bearing screw here, so it wasn't a washer. I don't have to keep up with a washer. Put my finger there. Put this on here. So I'm going back the backwards order I took it apart, making sure my nipple is up on my little internal clicker plate. And we do sell, is it up? Yeah, it's up. We do sell all these scissor parts, shear parts, whatever you want to call them. So if you're looking for parts for your shears, we sell them, and we sell them in small quantities. So you're not stuck with ordering huge amount of parts from overseas and getting things you really don't need. And these little UFO screws are little piddly. Little fiddly. Now, I'm not closing this. I have, this is called perm paper or M-wrap paper. And I'm going to do my, I don't think so. Things are going to go back neatly like I want them to. It's just not going to happen. But I'll try. I really will. I know some people get distracted by things not being... Now you see this doesn't cut my perm paper good? You see it's not... Yeah, well, that time it did. Tighten it a little bit. But what I wanted to point out is sometimes it won't cut the perm paper, but it will cut hair. So I don't let it... I don't think I've ever seen it cut the perm paper well and not cut hair. And then I had someone say, well, when I cut it, it leaves little holes and it looks like it cuts it all the way through for you. Well, no, it's actually leaving little holes. Right there in the middle is catching a little bit. When I close it, it's catching, which is good, because I can show you something else. Cuts fine. I feel a little catch. I'm going to very, very gently, not much at all, ramp these teeth, especially there in the center, just a little bit, because the cutting is done at the bottom of the V. So I just took off a little bit at the top of the V. Still feeling a catch. I don't want to overdo it. Nail buffer's my friend. 3000 grit nail buffer. You can buy these at any beauty supply, but we sell them too. I'm feeling it touch. Is it worth trying to fix that? Is it? Yeah, there's still a little tiny nick right here. I feel it. Oh, let's fix it. Let's do it right. I'm not going to go all the way back through and take it apart. I'm just going to kind of put it in the clamp and very lightly see if I can get out that nick. No, I didn't. A little bit more. A little bit more. Let me move this down about, is it 40? I'm going to set it on like a 39. So if there's such a thing. And just fill it with my thumb right there. I think that's got it. Now, I can knock this off with my nail buffer. I think that'll work. Or I might go to the stone. I think the nail buffer did it. I think when I die, I'm going to ask them to put a nail buffer in the coffin with me. You just never know when you need a nail buffer. That's my arc home. A little bit more aggressive than the nail buffer. That was weird the way that ride line worked out, you know, when I first did it. So it may have something to do with that. It's got it. That's got it. Little bit of finessing. Let's make sure it's tight enough and make sure, ooh, cord. Make sure it's still cutting hair good. And it cut hair good before. I just didn't like the way that felt. That's too tight. And it's super loose when she gave it to me. So let's see how it cuts hair. I think she'll be happy with it. Little oil, and that one is done. So even though I had some problems, that didn't take me that long to do it. Let's knock out the other easy one to sharpen. I might do this in speed motion. Put this down where I can put a wrap it up to give back to her. Okay, so I'm going to speed through this. And I'll tell you in real time how long it's taken me. So it's 12:56. how it cuts? Nope. She should be happy. And it took me 7 minutes to do this shear. Always double check the tip. Feels good. 7 minutes. After I oil it, I double check the adjustment too. I might be able to do it one click more. Well, this has got a ball bearing washer, so you don't have to do them as tight as you do the regular washers. So I'm going to leave that there. Now my dilemma is, do I want to bring these up to 45? I don't think so. These don't feel very sharp. Let's do a scratch test. Let's just see what's on here. They should be 45. That's what that other one was. That was basically the same type of shear. And here's what I want you to see is just how much metal has been removed on this one from incorrect sharpening. Shortens the life of the shears. Costs the client more money. Yes, the sharpening was 1/3 the price, but the sharpening actually was a lot more because she's got to replace her shears more often. Which, if you sell shears, isn't always a bad thing, but I believe in treating your customers the way you'd like to be treated. Okay, so this is set at 45, which is really what it ought to be. And I'm going to do a scratch. Someone, I just got an call from Norway. Someone wanting to know what angles, and see, that's not even anywhere near the edge. I'm going to set it at 40. I don't want to go any lower than 40 on a convex edge shear. Of course, they're beveled now, but I'm going to try to reconvex. Let's see what if 40 will work. No, it's not anywhere near the edge. These are really blunt. But did you notice they cut wet tissue? So, I mean, a shear does not have to be, a thin, sharp edge to cut through wet tissue. It's just not going to perform well. Now, this is a flat plate, 80 micron. And I'm just going to reshape that edge. I don't spray water all the time on this when I'm sharpening, but I will when I know I'm having to reshape it here. Probably really needs chamfering here. I don't know if I want to go through that much work, if I can get it to work. And you notice I didn't do the ride first, because I'm going to get this edge going, and then do the ride. And they feel hot. Haven't got back in here. Alright, I've kind of reestablished somewhat of a convex shape. I think I need to do a little bit more. It's kind of like sculpting. And I hate that noise. It sounds like a real grinder, but really not taking anything off the edge. I'm just reshaping the outside of the blade at this point. Man. Spray it before it turns blue on me. Haven't got to edge at the tip, but I don't want to take off any more metal than I have to off that tip. So I'm switching to my fresh 800. I'm going to attempt to put a rod line on it. As the rod line was completely gone, I might have to go to a more aggressive stone. Let's see what's going on. Yeah, I don't have it up in here, which is kind of doesn't surprise me at all. When that much metal's taken off, that's what happens. That area right there doesn't. Chamfering would fix it. I have another video on chamfering. I might try to remember to put a link below or a link above if you're interested in what I'm talking about in chamfering. But I got a huge amount of work to do today. I don't want to take all that amount of time, and I'm not charging her extra for these. She drove 45 minutes, but I'm going to mail them back to her. Atlanta traffic is sometimes crazy. We're very biblical about our traffic here. It's the quick and the dead. If you go the speed limit, you're going to get run over. In fact, they had some college students that did it as an experiment. They drove around 285 at the speed limit. Tied up traffic, it was a mess. But they were going the speed limit. So now, this is like my first time going and getting a burr. I didn't even try to get a burr that first step. And I'm starting a little higher up than I normally do because I'm trying to reconvex that shape. Normally I spend more time on the edge than I do now, but my purpose now is to get it convexing. And I've got a burr in the middle, not at the tip and not up there. So that's coming up pretty good. Man, these are going to be like little needles at the end. I'm looking at a lot of this as cosmetic. I'm landing them a lot higher than I normally would on a pair of shears because I'm trying to blend that bevel out, make them look convex. Okay, I've got a burr in the middle, not in the back, not at the tip. I'm kind of sticking my tip up in the air to get this back area. And then I'm going to have my tip down but gently. And I feel like getting warm again. I don't want to pull it out to get the burr at the tip because then I'll just create another bevel, which is not what I want. Getting there. It's not quite. This one might be a good one to freehand if you're a freehand sharpener. But I train using the clamp, so I try to avoid doing much freehanding. If you come in for training, if you're advanced sharpener, have already been sharpening, or you really have some skills. Not all of us come to the world with the same abilities. Well, none of us come to the world with the same abilities. And so some people I can cover a little bit more with them. This last gentleman that was here earlier this week, we were able to get into some freehand sharpening because he's going to be doing mostly groomers, and the grooming shears, the curved ones, sometimes are just a lot easier to do freehand. But I like to show both ways because you know you can't always get the correct angle freehanding, especially if you're falling behind another sharpener. Okay, I've knocked my inside burr off. Now I'm going to polish. Let's see if I can go straight to polish. Probably ought to go to something in between, but get some of these deeper scratches out. As I said, I'm kind of pushed for time here. You know, that doesn't look half bad. Doesn't look half bad. Now the question is, how does it cut? I don't care how it looks if it doesn't cut good. Looks like I don't have a burr right there at the tip. But I may have to shorten them just because they're so pointy. So I'm not going to worry about it at this point. I'm just going to put them together, see how they cut. The people that were here earlier this week were from a northern state. And I used the term fish or cut bait, and they had never heard that before. And that may be a southern thing. It means if you go out fishing, you could sit and cut bait all day, but you never catch anything. You know, just go ahead and start fishing. And that's sort of like, I don't like the way that looks. Well, I think it looks better than what it did. Let's see what happens when I put it together. Now, I know I had a washer there. Did I not get my washer out? Oh, I left the washer in there. Shame on you, Bonnie. That's not good. You could have lost that washer. And you could have maybe not had one that size, which is unlikely because I've got lots of different washers, different sizes, but I was a real world sharpener. Which today this is pretty real. Okay. Let's see how this cuts. Got dry. I told you I have a feeling the tip's not going to cut right, but we'll find out. Huh. Pretty good. I'm kind of actually really surprised those came out as good as they did. I'm going to shorten it anyway because it is super pointy. And I wouldn't want anybody stabbing themselves here. Here's a 400 grit cushion plate. And I'm just going to come in here and round that off. And I basically didn't take hardly any more metal off than what had been taken before on the edge. I just kind of reshaped the blade and made a little bit more convexy shape. But I can't make metal grow back. Let's test it. A little bit of hair. See, it's pulling a little bit on the hair. I'm going to shorten it a little bit more. Oh, that feels better. Yes, and no pulling of the hair at the tip. So those are done. Put a little oil on them. And those took me 16 minutes. So 16 minutes even working that. Have this last one to do, but it's going to be pretty much exactly like that one. So I'm going to say goodbye to you there. Put your comments down below if there's something special you want me to cover in the sharpening videos. And remember, my shears are my specialty, although I do, you know, sharpen some other things. And I hope to see all of you at the Sharpeners Jam, and check out all my other videos and subscribe, because I put new ones up. Try to get something new up twice a week, and so you don't want to miss any of them.